Alright, on this episode we're going to look at the movie Krull. Now, Krull was released in 1983. It's rated PG. It's kind of a fantasy epic with some sci-fi elements. And Krull's an interesting movie, has kind of an epic journey. I definitely remember this movie from back in the day. I always wanted to see it, but I didn't catch it till later. The poster for this movie is awesome, so I always remember that iconic poster. I was thinking, hey, that looks pretty interesting. And the glaive weapon is very iconic. If you see it, you know it, where it came from. This story starts off with an alien fortress kind of flying through space, and it lands on the planet named Krull. The occupants inside are called Slayers, and they kind of ravage the land. And the Slayers are led by some beast that lives in the fortress. The Slayers have kind of advanced weapons, while the citizens of Krull kind of have medieval weapons. However, they're sorcerers and magic weapons that they have to their disposal. So there's definitely that fantasy aspect with the sci-fi kind of mixed in. Really kind of makes it an interesting atmosphere. The two kingdoms are coming together, two kingdoms in Krull, via kind of a royal marriage. During the wedding ceremony, the castle is attacked by Slayers. The prince, who's named Cohen, is wounded, and the princess is carried away by the Slayers. This begins the journey of Cohen in a quest to kind of rescue Liza, the princess. Now, Cohen gathers a group to help him. Starts off with this old sage, and this old sage kind of helps him, heals him, and the sage kind of takes him around, finds this army of bandits. And he also finds a cyclops that kind of follows him around, and he gets this kind of a terrible wizard that also runs into the wizard that kind of for comedy effect a little bit, and a seer. So he gets a seer that can kind of help him, guide him. And so Cohen, first off, before he gets people, he has to go get the glaive. The sage tells him he's got to get this weapon. It'll help him defeat the beast. But the main challenge that he faces is he's got to find the fortress, because the fortress keeps moving. It only stays in position for that one day and then moves around the world. So they have to figure out where it's going to appear. So there's a lot of journeying that kind of revolves around finding seers who can tell them where the fortress is. They have a seer that's kind of in a cave. The sage also knows about a seer that's caught up in a spider web, and so he has to go find those to find where this fortress is. I rate this movie a 2.5 stars, maybe to 3 out of 4 stars. While the story and the atmosphere are not likely to engage everyone, I found it quite entertaining. I think the locations are good, the music's great, there's a good mix of action and character development. They also build up the characters enough that you can follow, which characters are what, and you can follow key ones. There's a lot of bandits, and they tend to, the bandits tend to die off, so it's harder to keep track of them, but everybody else is pretty good. And the main thing that I found was odd, maybe, is that Cohen kind of waits until, like, the very end to use the glaive. He's got this magical weapon, he can kind of control it with his mind, where it goes, and he waits most of the story before he uses it. Seemed like he could have solved a lot of problems before then with that weapon. Oh well. Anyway, I recommend it if you like fantasy movies like Legend or Dark Crystal or Neverending Story. Then this one, definitely add it to your list and give it a watch if you haven't watched it before, because yeah, that's an interesting one. Thanks.